In the heated world of sports debates where Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid divides households and Suns versus Lakers sparks endless arguments, there exists an automotive controversy just as passionate, just as tribal, and just as unresolved. Which nation truly built the definitive Volkswagen Beetle? This isn't a dry historical analysis. It's an emotional story about three distinct human journeys embodied in steel, each representing a national character forged by history, hardship, and hope. Germany, the meticulous architect. Brazil, the resilient survivor. Mexico, the patient guardian. To settle this, we must step into a different kind of arena, not a stadium, but the garages, backroads, and family memories where these cars actually lived. Imagine this not as a spec sheet comparison, but as a courtroom drama where each country presents its case for the soul of an icon. The plaintiff isn't a corporation. It is the collective memory of millions of families whose family legacy is intertwined with the distinct hum of an air-cooled engine. The evidence isn't in horsepower figures, but in emotional connections preserved in faded photographs. In stories of cross-country moves, in the stubborn refusal of a simple car to fade into oblivion. This debate matters because it's fundamentally about values. Is perfection defined by flawless execution at the point of creation, or by the ability to adapt and endure through decades of real-world chaos? Is a car's greatness measured by its purity of design, or by the depth of its integration into the fabric of daily life and culture? This human experience of attachment, of relying on a machine not just for transport but for identity, forms the core of our inquiry. For the German engineer, the Beetle was a masterpiece of democratic design, a promise of mobility and modernity in a rebuilding nation. For the Brazilian worker, the Fusca was a trusted companion through economic storms and crumbling infrastructure, a symbol of incredible comebacks on both a personal and national scale. For the Mexican family, the Vacho was a tireless workhorse, a taxi that put children through school, a vehicle that outlived its creators by a generation. This is the true tier list we're constructing, one graded on resilience, on cultural impact, on the quiet life lessons taught by a machine that refused to die. As we dive into this great debate, we're not just ranking countries, we're evaluating philosophies. We're asking what we truly value in the objects we invite into our lives. Do we cherish the pristine original vision, or do we revere the scars earned through faithful service? The answer, much like the outcome of any classic Suns versus Lakers matchup, depends entirely on the heart of the beholder and the stories they hold dear. Let's call our first witness, Germany, the originator. The country that doesn't just build cars but engineers Fahrvergnügen, the joy of driving. The German Beetle's case is built on a foundation of precision so intense it borders on obsession. This is the Spotify Wrapped of automotive manufacturing, a perfectly curated, flawlessly executed original album. Every panel gap measured to the millimeter. Every stitch in the upholstery following an exacting pattern. The satisfying thunk of a door closing on a German-made Beetle isn't just sound. It's the audible signature of Teutonic quality control. Driving one is an exercise in mechanical harmony, a testament to the belief that a thing done right at the start requires no apology later. This philosophy created a family legacy of a different kind, not of hand-me-down repairs, but of pristine preservation. And in German garages, the Beetle was often a weekend treasure, meticulously maintained, its history documented in a leather-bound logbook. Its emotional connection was to an ideal, perfection of form and function. It represented the post-war Wirtschaftswunder economic miracle, a symbol of a nation rebuilding itself with order, discipline, and astonishing quality. The soundtrack to this era in our imagined automotive YouTube recap would be the orderly hum of the Wolfsburg assembly line, punctuated by the authoritative classics of the time. Think the structured compositions of Paul Anka, or the precise orchestration of a Bert Kaempfert record. It was music for a society moving in unison toward prosperity. Yet, within this impeccable record lies the prosecution's strongest argument: abandonment. In 1978, Germany, the parent, declared the child obsolete. The last Beetle rolled out of Emden, not with a fanfare for an icon, but with the quiet efficiency of a product line being retired for newer, more profitable models. The very pursuit of progress that created the Beetle ultimately killed it in its birthplace. This act frames the central question of the entire debate. Does the creator, having moved on, forfeit its claim to the soul of the creation? Germany presents a masterpiece, but one it willingly left behind, a perfect instrument it stopped playing. This introduces a profound life lesson for our story, that legacy isn't solely defined by the brilliance of the creation, but by the commitment to its ongoing song. The German chapter is one of breathtaking genesis and a somewhat cold, logical conclusion, leaving the melody to be carried by others across the ocean. The German Beetle, impeccably restored, paint flawless, chrome gleaming, interior like a time capsule, represents precision and origin. The Brazilian Fusca, paint faded and chipped, slight rust on trim, interior lived in with fabric seats, reinforced suspension visible, represents adaptation and resilience. The Mexican Vacho, well used but maintained, later model updates like clear turn signals. Interior clean but worn, taximeter possibly on dash, represents endurance and service. Enter the defense for Brazil, the master adapter. If Germany's case is a pristine studio recording, Brazil's is a live, gritty, endlessly remixed street performance, Bonnaroo. 2026 of automotive ingenuity happening every single day on the streets of São Paulo, Rio, and the interior. Brazil didn't just receive the Beetle. It dissected it, understood its heart, and rebuilt it to survive a reality its German engineers never envisioned. This is where the debate gets visceral. Brazil's evidence isn't in factory tolerances, but in reinforced suspension components designed for roads that are more suggestion than pavement. It's in the revolutionary alcohol-powered engine, born from the 1970s oil crisis, an incredible comeback that turned a global weakness into a national strength, powering cars on fuel grown from their own soil. The Brazilian Fusca's emotional story is one of relationship, of a car becoming family. It wasn't babied in a garage. It was worked daily. It carried generations to school, to work, to the beach. Its interior became a collage of human experiences, sand from Copacabana ground into the floor mats, the scent of countless family churrascos embedded in the seats, the dashboard adorned with fading stickers of football clubs and saints. Its soundtrack in our imagined Apple Music Replay 2025 is a vibrant, chaotic mashup. The soft bossa nova of a Sunday morning drive gives way to the energetic sertanejo of a road trip, all underpinned by the constant, reliable thrum of the engine, a sound that became as familiar as a heartbeat. This car taught life lessons of resilience, improvisation, and joy amid hardship. A broken part wasn't a crisis. It was a puzzle to be solved with available tools and shared community knowledge. The Fusca became a symbol of Brazilian jeitinho, the art of finding a clever way, a workaround. However, the prosecution against Brazil points to stagnation. While the car was made durable, its form remained stubbornly frozen for decades. The iconic small rear windows, retained for safety and cost, became a charming anachronism. In a world chasing the new, Brazil championed the enduring. This represents a different kind of personal transformation, not of the car's design, but of its meaning. It transformed from a German import into a Brazilian cultural touchstone, a piece of national identity. The debate here isn't about evolution of form, but evolution of purpose. Brazil argues that true greatness isn't about changing to meet the market, but about becoming so essential to the fabric of life that the market has no choice but to keep you. The Fusca's legacy is written not in design patents, but in the millions of kilometers of lived life, in the emotional healing it provided as a constant in a changing world, proving that sometimes the most radical act is simply to endure. Now, the final testament, Mexico, the keeper of the flame. Mexico's role in this saga is unique. It is the guardian of the legacy, the country that provided the setting for the final poignant act. Mexico's case is built on the powerful, simple virtue of endurance. While the world searched for Travel Tuesday deals on new adventures, Mexico offered a different bargain, faithfulness. The Mexican Vacho wasn't about revolutionary changes or brutal adaptations. It was about consistent, reliable presence. It was the car that was always there, the taxi you hailed at 5 a.m., the faithful companion for the abuelito going to market, the first car for countless teenagers. Its family legacy is one of silent, dependable service. It's the vehicle that, through sheer reliability, financed educations, weddings, and homes. In our narrative, Mexico is the wise elder at the festival, the one who remembers all the old songs and ensures they're still played. Its emotional connection is built on trust earned over millions of cumulative kilometers on the streets of Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Puebla. The soundtrack inside a Mexican Beetle is the symphony of the city itself, the bustling markets, the lively radio chatter, the conversations between driver and passenger that turned a simple fare into a moment of human connection. It has the mix of the classic boleros loved by the older generation and the newer pop tunes, perhaps even Sabrina Carpenter filtering in from a younger passenger's phone, a gentle blending of eras within a timeless shell. Mexico did evolve the car, but subtly. The late 90s updates, the Ultima edition, gave the classic face a slight modernization, a respectful nod to the present while honoring the past. This was not a reinvention, but a gentle refresh akin to restoring a beloved mural. Then came the emotional crescendo that no other country can claim. July 30th, 2003, the last Beetle in the world rolls off the line in Puebla. Workers weep. It is a global moment of emotional healing and poignant farewell. In that act, Mexico achieved something profound. It granted the Beetle a dignified, celebrated ending. It didn't let the icon fade away in a foreign junkyard. It hosted its retirement party. This final act offers a crucial life lesson about stewardship. Mexico argues that greatness isn't just about how you start something or how hard you fight with it, but about how respectfully you see it to its end. It championed renewed hope not by reinventing the wheel, but by proving the old wheel could still roll purposefully into a new century. In the Great Debate, Mexico's strength is longevity and solemn respect. It didn't birth the Beetle, but it gave it the longest, most purposeful life and the most heartfelt goodbye, claiming a unique and powerful piece of its soul in the process. The closing arguments are in. Germany presented the case for original genius and unparalleled quality. Brazil argued for adaptive resilience and deep cultural fusion. Mexico testified to enduring faithfulness and dignified stewardship. So, who wins the Great Debate? The verdict, like any good Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid clash, is split and passionately contested. The purist awards it to Germany for creating the timeless template. The pragmatist sides with Brazil for building a car for the real rough world. The traditionalist honors Mexico for its loyal guardianship. But perhaps the true answer lies not in picking a single champion, but in understanding that the Beetle's legendary status was achieved because of this very trilogy of national experiences. Its human journey needed the German precision to be born exceptional, the Brazilian grit to prove its mettle, and the Mexican endurance to secure its legend. This car became more than any single nation could have made it alone. It became a global emotional story, absorbing the character of each land it called home. This debate mirrors our own human experiences with the things we love. Do we value the pristine, original condition of a cherished heirloom, or the worn patina earned through family use? Do we admire the relentless pursuit of the new, or the profound beauty in maintaining what works? The Beetle, in its three main incarnations, allows us to have that debate through metal and memory. This emotional story about a car's journey across continents likely made you reflect on the objects in your own life that carry multiple stories. The furniture, the tools, the houses that have been shaped by different hands over time. If this exploration of legacy, value, and emotional connection resonated with you, and you re-interested in how these principles apply, not just to history, but to the present and future of the things you care about, I invite you to our companion channel. We explore how passion, knowledge, and thoughtful stewardship can intersect, helping you preserve, appreciate, and understand the true value, both tangible and intangible, of the items that shape your own story. because every object has a debate within it, waiting for you to listen to all sides.